Wow, look at all those hands up. Awesome.
Hey, everybody's hands are up. Can
Yeah.
you hear me,
Yep,
Sally? Yeah. Okay, cool.
we got
Hello.
a bunch of newbies.
Nice, nice. Who, wait, I gotta change my screen. Hold on. View. Here we go. Okay. Hi, there's everybody. Who just joined, like just joined last week?
Me, Michelle.
Okay, cool. Yeah, if you put your hand, I can see everybody on the screen. Awesome. Okay, cool. Um, so I will hopefully get to everybody today. Last time I stayed way over and I don't have that ability today. I can maybe stay like 10 minutes over the top of the hour, but if you want to ask me a question, make sure you have your hands up because once it gets towards the end of the hour, I won't take new questions, okay? Also, I want to most of the time somebody will ask the question, like if you feel a little shy and you want to like kind of observe first before you decide if you want to raise your hand, or if you just don't like talking in front of all these people, it's very, very common, if not almost certain, that somebody else will ask your question for you or your question will get answered. So don't worry if you don't feel like you have time or if you feel a little shy, you will still most likely get your question answered, okay? Okay, so I am just going to go in order. So if you've never been to one of these calls, what we do is we start off by sharing wins. So the win could be as simple as I joined and I'm here, or it could be something amazing. Try to keep it concise and try to keep your question very pointed, just so that we have time to get to everybody, because I want to hear all the stories and I want to hear all the shares. And we're growing as a group, and so I want to make sure that everybody has a chance to ask their question and to share. So after you share your win, and then you can tell me what it is you would like some help with, and then we can work on that for you, and I'll give you my advice and feedback, and maybe give you a challenge or a customized prescription. We never know. We never know what's going to happen from these calls. So I usually let my intuition guide me on that. Okay, I'm going to start with Leah because you're first on my screen.
Hi.
Hi, Leah.
Well, a win is just that I'm here and I had a super stressful situation happen at work and I didn't eat over it. And I actually like underate because I'm still pretty worked up about it, that it's like, okay, I need to not eat because I really want to just feel the feelings and go through it. And yeah, and a lot, just a little scenario about it is just that I got a bad review from a client, and I've never experienced that before. And so it's just kind of tapping into so much about approval from other people, putting myself out there, withstanding criticism, just a lot of, I mean, that's probably the crux of it.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. All the inner criticism that you don't notice that you have towards yourself.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and in a weird way, the criticism, it did identify some blind spots that I hadn't seen with my work. So it's like, okay, like in a bigger picture, I know eventually I'll be able to like see the good in it. But right now, but I don't want to like bypass my feelings and try to minimize and be like, oh, well, I'll see the good in it. And it's like, yeah, but right now I feel like shit.
Totally,
So,
totally, totally. Good, and good for you for not going to food. Is that normally what you would do to
oh
cope?
God, yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. And you're pretty new, right?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. So the tapping's already really having a big effect for you.
I think so. And it's almost like I don't want to believe that it's really working. Like, ah,
Oh,
is this a placebo effect? And am I just
oh,
like doing this because because
oh.
it's the new and shiny thing? And
We should tap on that. Does anybody, I see Katie's head is nodding up and down. Does anybody else have that happening for them? Like, there's no way this could work. This could be the, okay, cool. So I'm going to speak to all of you. Thank you for bringing that up, Leah. Was that your question? Or
Yeah,
did you have something
yeah,
else?
yeah.
That was
Just dealing with the feelings with the work and then spiraling into, oh my God, does this tapping actually work to deal with feelings?
okay. Well, I want to address the is it too good to be true, because that can actually that can sabotage you. And so we want to make sure that the results you guys are seeing stick. So I recommend this a lot, and so you'll hear me repeat this often, but it's such a good strategy and exercise to do for anybody anytime you're struggling with something. So we call the 3 pages exercise. So everybody that has this, I want you to take out a pen and a piece of paper. It's more powerful if you actually put like pen to paper and just write out all of the things you hear yourself saying. It's too good to be true. I heard Leah say, is this a placebo? Are the results really going to stick? What kind of witchcraft is this? It's probably going to stick for a while and then it's all going to come back just like everything else. What those conversations are particular to you. Okay. So you're going to have your own set of beliefs and things that you tell yourself around whether or not this is going to work, or your belief around it not working. And then all you do, and so we call it 3 pages, and you might not fill up 3 pages with this because this isn't that big of a problem. Pam, I'm going to mute you. I'm going to make sure everybody's muted so that Michelle, I'm going to mute you too. So you make sure everybody's muted so that we can have a peaceful call. This is the good news is this isn't a big problem. This is like the tiniest issue. But it can really sabotage your success if you don't address it. So I highly recommend addressing it. And it's super easy to tap on. So you might fill up a page, you might fill up half a page, you might fill up 2 pages with your beliefs around this, but I don't think it'll even get to 3 pages. You just want to free write everything you hear yourself saying. And then once you start repeating yourself, or you're kind of like, okay, I'm done. You might feel a big relief from just getting them out of your head and onto paper. But then what I would do is maybe not after you're done writing it, maybe come back to it the next day or in a couple of hours and rate how true these statements are on a scale from 0 to 10. So 0 is not true at all and 10 is the most. So go each statement by each statement and rate how true it is. And then just use those statements to tap, even though there's no way this could work. This has got to be placebo. I completely love and accept myself. And I'm open to the idea that, I can release this belief. Maybe I can release this belief. You don't even have to be open to the idea that you're wrong. You just have to be like, hey, maybe this will change. Right? Do that for each one of the beliefs that you have written down on the page. And then come back the next day and check it and read through your pages again, re-rate everything, how true everything is on a scale from 0 to 10. You don't have to get these. I think a 3 or below, you're good. You don't have to get these to a 0. You just get them to like a 2 or a 3, and then you're good. That'll stop the conversation about this being too good to be true. Does that help, Leah? Is that helpful for everybody?
Yes,
Katie, is that helpful for you too? Cool. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Leah, for bringing that up. Yeah. Cool. Okay, Katie, you're next. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
So I just joined. I had my call with Sally today.
Yay.
And my win is how impactful Girl Talk 1 Intentions and Miracles was. That was fantastic because I love meditation and miracles and manifesting. So that gave me that made my heart happy.
Oh, good. Thank you for that feedback.
I'm a bit apprehensive about this buddy system.
Okay.
I am a 40-year-old independent lady, and I struggle when it comes to doing something like the buddy, having a buddy.
Okay. What is it specifically about having a buddy that feels challenging for you?
Well, they're in my bubble and I can handle this on my own. Thank you.
Okay. Um, do you want help with that, or are you happy? Because buddies are not a requirement. The buddies is like it's like an extra thing, and it's not something that you need in order to graduate the program. It's something that a lot of people really love, but there are some people that are just like, hey, I don't want that. I don't want the extra. I don't want the extra thing to do. I don't want the accountability. I don't need it. So.
No, this goes back to just childhood stuff. I would like to be somebody who's open to that. So that is one thing I would like to work on, is being more
Okay.
open.
Got it. Okay. Cool. Well, in that case, so you just joined, right?
Correct.
Okay. So you're going to learn something called echo tapping, which you did with me on day 1 of the webinar. We did it, when we did the push the food away and we went back in time. So you're going to learn how to do that for really any emotional experience that you don't want to have. If you are a super self-starter, which sounds like you are, you can go to the bonus section, and we actually have that technique for you. It's called the Binge Eliminator, and it's an audio where I'm walking you through it with food, but I'll tell you how to use it for an emotional problem, which is basically the reason that I have you feel the desire for the food and then push it away is so that you embody and you feel the bad feeling. So when you listen to the audio, it's just a 15-minute audio of me walking you through it. So when you listen to the audio, you can kind of like disregard the part where you think about food and push it away and just focus on the bad feeling. Because after that, I don't talk about food. I just take you through the exercise. So I would listen to that audio, and the place to start for you is thinking about having, and see, whenever I do this, I always really exaggerate it so that it's kind of like, well, it's a way for you to bring up, like, you can kind of hide different problems and blocks under layers. And so the way I give you visualizations is I make it like really bad so that most of them come up to the surface, because I like to work that way, but it gets a little intense. So maybe what I would imagine for you is, like, imagine having like 10 buddies, and they're all calling you, and they all want something from you, and they all, want to help you, and they need your help too, right? And whatever that is for you, like, what's the worst part for you about having a buddy? Like, what's the worst part of that?
The obligate
you, but like, what's the no thank you about?
That I'm obligated to somebody.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I figured. Okay. So it's going to be the pressure. It's the obligation. It's the, oh God, it's like one more thing I have to do. Okay. Imagine you have 10 people that you feel obligated for, right? Like, I can see the look on your face. You're like, okay. So start there. So imagine you have 10 buddies, and you're obligated to all of them. That's the bad feeling that you start with, and you follow that bad feeling back in time. Do 3 rounds of echo tapping on that particular visualization, and I think that'll really that'll move this for you and give you a lot of insight.
Perfect. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Let us know how that goes too.
I will.
Check in with Sally once you're done with that, because then maybe she'll want to she'll be able to give you some buddies.
Okay.
Okay. You might change your mind about buddies after that, or you may have to do a lot of tapping on this. We don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. Cool. Thanks, Katie.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Dorota. Sorry, is it Dorota or Dorota? I know I ask you that every time.
Yeah, it's Dorota. It's fine. Yeah, how you say it. Thanks. Hi, Brittany. Hi, everyone, and great to be on this call. And my win is that I managed to use a compulsive behavior as a trigger to amplify the feelings for echo tapping. because I do echo tapping on the pages rather than regular tapping. It didn't quite work for me, so I go in as my echo, and I have compulsive behaviors, not just eating, but also binge watching and stuff. And today I managed to turn it, like to push the phone away, literally, with the episode. And I got really agitated because there was something there that triggered me. And no, I had a couple of difficult days where I noticed that I'm running away from the pages. And today I managed to actually consciously use this agitation to amplify those feelings for tapping. Which is yeah, it's a big thing for me.
That's huge. That's huge. That's super inspiring too. I'm actually working with my team. We are coming up with a new program that's going to go through all of the, we're calling it something around, we don't know the name of it, but it's something around like vices, because it's so common for us all to, I mean, the phone, TV, there's so many, in this day and age, there's so many things are meant to grab us, and we're getting stuck and we're getting addicted to these things without realizing it. And so we can, like what you just did, we can apply echo tapping, the same system that we use for food, we can apply to all these things. And so I'm working on a new project that's going to teach people how to do that. So thank you for experimenting with that, because it's so needed. And I'm excited to hear about what happened for you.
And this is actually something that I've been using. Yeah, I've been using echo tapping to medicate for my depression, really, because I can't take medication for various reasons anymore. And depression and fear, and next to my compulsive behaviors, this is what was basically the bane of my life. And I've also noticed in the 3 pages process that it started today, I think, that I'm starting to feel something new, like irritation. Normally I was just scared. And now I'm kind of, I don't know if it's a step in the process that like new feelings come up, and that's the reason, because I can feel a shift. Something new has come up.
Okay.
And that's like, something, I have issues with anger, and anger triggered me during the 6-week program. I became scared of being angry. And now I feel sort of mildly irritated, like at people, at things. And I don't know if it's like something has, as if it's something new in the process.
Yeah, anger is a big part of the work that we do in this program. And so I think if it's coming up for you naturally, that's awesome. You're probably not at the place yet where we talk about anger, but you might go, I think it's in the neuro reconditioning audio folder or section of the website, and you can listen to a Q&A call where I talk about like 5 different ways to teach anger work. And it's labeled like anger work or something like that on there. So yeah, if that's something that's already coming up for you, I would absolutely encourage you to explore that.
Okay, thank you. And also the challenge that we started after the last laser call, the 3-page challenge on WhatsApp, it's still up and running. So I'm guessing if someone would like to join, I can post a link in the chat, because there are now 23 of us in it.
Yay!
So it's maybe someone else would like to, if they're realizing that maybe the 3 pages are something for them at this stage. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the way I just explained it, well, yeah, I mean, I guess I explained it the right way. Yeah, if anybody, just since there were so many of you that said you were having resistance to believing that this is possible, if you are new and you don't know what a challenge is, often what I do on most of these calls is like if a lot of people have a problem with one thing, I'll put you guys together and challenge you to do your 3 pages and do it within this container of a group, and share your results with everybody. So Are you guys still working on your main one, your first 3 pages, or are people doing like another like another topic?
I'm not sure about everyone, but I know that some of us have more than 3 pages and quite a lot of material to go through. I am just a little bit more than halfway through
Okay.
mine, and
Great.
so yeah, we just
Thank you for
and people keep
offering that.
joining. Okay,
Okay,
so
so if
I
you want to
post it.
join, thank you for offering that, Dorada. Do you have it in a WhatsApp group?
Yep,
Okay.
that's the link.
So what I would do, oh, you've just put the link in. Awesome. So click on that. And if you already have WhatsApp, you can click on that. If you don't, just download WhatsApp onto your phone and then click on that and you'll be able to join the group. Also, Dorada, maybe you can put your phone number in here too, and they can add, if you want to add Dorada's phone number, and you have WhatsApp, then you can message her directly and she can put you in the group. But this is the easiest way to do it, honestly, to just download the app and then click on it because it'll take you right to the group. So, and again, the rules of a challenge are that when you're in a challenge group is that you don't use it to share your story or like share your like the painful parts of the process. You want to share wins, right? So this is a group to like keep people accountable and uplift and inspire people. So you want to share aha moments, you want to share wins, you want to share just like accountability, like I did it today, it was like so hard for me to do, but I saw Dorada do it and I went for it and I feel so much better, you know, whatever, kind of like keep it on a positive note so that it stays in a higher vibration because we want people to use it as support. Okay. Thanks, Dorada, for mentioning that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Awesome.
And thank you for your advice.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I can tell you're really understanding the material and you're using it the way that it's meant to be used, which is like very creatively. And I love how you're exploring different ways that you can work with it. So that's really cool
Thanks.
to me. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Joan Liu.
Hey, Brittany.
Hi.
First time actually unmuting and saying hi. So nice to
Yay.
see you. I've
You
joined a
too.
couple calls live. So I've joined 2 challenges in the last 2 months. One is with Dorada's 3-page one. So that was part of my win. Was actually, I've noticed since writing and journaling, it was maybe 2 pages to start. And then I've just added more pages just as things come up or as different ideas or memories come up. And I've just noticed that journaling or writing things out like anger, worries, frustration, like it already just feels better. And it does, I do agree with like come back at it later or the next day. Just to kind of, like you said, puke on the page and then let it sit. I mean, I do that with writing as well. So like just anything I've written, even in high school, just take time and come back. So
yeah, because it
yeah.
is healing. You are actually processing and releasing the stress of that just by getting it out of your brain. So like you can't do more than 2 hours of tapping in a day. And so it might take you an hour or an hour and a half. Like that's enough work for the day. So yeah, thanks for acknowledging that. Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing too, I know earlier was a concern of or worries or anxiety around buddies. I just have to shout out my buddy. She's been great, even when I'm late to our calls. Yeah, so she's been incredible, giving me a lot of insights, which also inspires more writing and reflection. So I do have a question. I haven't even asked my buddy yet, so it's something new, just with like your perspective or ideas. So I was looking, so I have lesson 8 unlocked already. Like I said, I've joined for a while, just haven't had an opportunity to unmute yet.
Okay.
So right now I'm wondering which might be a better strategy or the best strategy or recommended approach. It's more for like an internal conflict of wanting to be more confident in myself and like getting attention. But then when I get attention and confidence, then I shy away from it or don't know what to say, feel uncomfortable. Yeah, so I want to be more comfortable and confident. And so like a few things were coming through my mind, like, I don't know if that's a last time thing or an echo, sabotage. I don't know, just like the
Yeah,
want to be seen and heard, but then feel uncomfortable or self-doubt when I do get
yeah.
that attention.
So, tell me more about your desires to be seen and heard. Like, is this like in business? Are you single and dating? Or like, what's the goal? Are you
I
just
would
wanting to show
say
up differently in the world?
yes, that.
Okay.
Mostly, I guess career, I guess if I had to prioritize,
Okay.
but then in social gatherings, maybe secondary. I get lots of attention from my husband and that's fine.
Cool.
But I realize like in group settings or like even my note preparing for today, just like, you know, the food and drink or like it's a way for me to be quiet and keep my mouth shut and I don't have to say anything or say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Either coworkers or social, I guess those are the two maybe focus.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is such a great question. I have my two best friends were very much like this before they met me, and I introduced them to tapping, of course. And they are no longer like this. So I've seen the transformation of like how much this can radically change somebody's life. So I'm super happy. Does anybody else feel like that? Does anybody else feel like, okay, awesome. A couple of you. Um, so what you want to do is you want to work backwards from like the most terrifying scenario. So we got to figure out what the most terrifying scenario would be for you. So if business is taking a priority, then maybe it's like would it be like you giving a presentation in front of like your superiors? Would that trigger you? Or would it be like more of like being at a party and like being the center of attention and everybody's looking at you? What's like, if you had to come up with like the most triggering scenario, do you have a sense of what that would be?
For career, I'd say presentations with my supervisors, observations always were scary for me, or saying the wrong thing,
Yeah.
or not handling something. I don't know. I'm not very good at spur of the moment and like knee-jerk reactions. I feel like I put my foot in my mouth a lot,
Okay.
socially and professionally.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think like on the spot or like again that self-doubt, like, did I handle that the right way?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Okay.
or
Okay.
someone
So
asks me a
yeah.
question that I can't answer, or like, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So I want you to imagine that you have, that your boss sends you an email and he says, you have 15 minutes to come into the conference room and you are going to give us a presentation, which is mostly going to be just us asking you questions. And that will determine whether or not you get a raise of double your salary. Okay. So like stakes are really high. You have no time to prepare and it's all just going to be Q&A and you have no idea what they're going to ask you. Okay.
Yeah,
Does
that's
that,
scary already.
that's scary. Okay, great. Is there
Yeah.
anything that could make that scarier?
I think instead of the money, I think if I lost my job, that would
Oh,
make
okay.
it
Okay.
like your
Okay. So,
job is on the line.
okay. So if you don't pass, then you'll lose your job. Okay, great. Thank you for that correction. That's awesome. Okay. So you want to start with that. And then do you know about the 3 pages exercise that everybody's talking about? Okay.
Yeah.
So I've already heard you say like 4 or 5 limiting beliefs, right? So I always put my foot in my mouth, I don't know if I say something right. I'm not very good on the spot, right? Like all these things are totally limiting beliefs. But if you believe them, they're going to manifest, right? So this even though this feels real and it feels like this is just who I am, it's actually just a set of beliefs that's causing you to behave a certain way. It's actually not you, right? So sit with the 3 pages, sit with that, start with that visualization, right? Start really triggered with that visualization, and then just write on the pages what you're feeling, what the beliefs are, the thoughts that are going through your head. You might even imagine yourself going through the interview and like maybe kind of like feeling clunky or maybe not sure, you know, answering in a certain way, right? Like, so play that scenario out, because I think at different parts of that movie, you're going to have different reactions. So this would probably take you, I want to say like an hour to think through and to get all the thoughts and the beliefs out on the page. So this is a big challenge for you. Okay. And then again, go back, write everything. You know how to do the 3 pages, write everything. And then and like, if you can, don't work on any other 3 pages, just focus on this one. And if you don't feel like tapping that day, don't like find something else to tap on. Just take that day off. Just focus on this. I'm really, I'm really a proponent of focusing on like one really big issue at a time. This feels really big for you. And I also can see that if you overcame this, your whole reality would change. So I'm really excited. I think this could, if you gave this like 2 weeks to a month of just like focused attention, I think you'll come back here in 2 months and be like, holy shit, Brittany, I can't wait to tell you what my new reality is. So
Yeah, and I think it'll overflow from, you know, work confidence to outside of work. Yeah, so I can see that already.
100%. There's no way it can't, actually. So you might find other scenarios that like you didn't think of, that, you know, maybe there's something that has to do with girls or girlfriends, or, you know, there could be tiny things, but whatever you tap on, if something else comes up that's a different context that you didn't hit, it'll come up like a smidge of a trigger. It won't be as bad as what the triggers that you're going to feel about this initial exercise.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate the
Yeah,
clarification.
you're welcome.
Nice to get live
I
with
hope you
you.
come back and share your results with me. Please do check in.
I definitely will. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Thanks. And join Dorata's group too for this. Oh, you're already in it. I think you said you're in it. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Okay, Laurel's next. Hey, Laurel.
Hey, Brittany.
Hi.
Okay, my win is a couple nights ago. So I've had this, I don't know, cravings, habits, whatever, of eating food in the evening, like up until the point I go to bed. And a couple nights ago, I had already had dinner and dessert and was craving eating something. And we were like hanging out with these new kittens we got, and I did the finger tapping thing. And I'm not even sure I have the right, if you could just briefly show like which part of the finger it is.
Yeah, it's
Is it
the
the-
top of the nail bed. So for the thumb, wait, let me see okay. So for the thumb, it's here. So you can just do it like this. It's on the top of the nail bed. And then, oh, whoops, sorry. Oh, shoot, camera. And then the thumb, where the thumb hits the top of the nail bed, it's actually really intuitive. So it's thumb and then the top of the fingers here.
Gotcha.
So it's just the end point of the fingers. And honestly, if you just tap your finger, it would probably work. But you know, because it actually shoots out, but it's supposed to be at the top of your finger here.
Okay.
So it actually it's pretty easy to do with, yeah,
Okay.
with
Yeah,
the way
so
your hand works already.
great. And so I did it, and I was kind of playing with different points on it because I wasn't totally sure. But
Cool.
anyway, it worked, and
Love
I did not eat anything. Whereas I am sure, like in the past, even like a month ago, I would have grabbed a bite of something on my way to my bedroom to go brush my teeth. Like,
That's so good. You know, I'm so glad, you know, obviously I know the techniques work, but it like feels like Christmas every time somebody's like, oh my God, it worked. Like, yay. It works and it keeps
feel like that
working. Thank God.
So my questions related to I had a coaching session this Monday, my first one,
Okay.
and it didn't feel like necessarily like monumental or like super revelatory or anything or super deep. But afterwards I was fatigued, ended up taking a nap for like 2 or 3 hours, and then was too tired the following morning, Tuesday morning, to get up and go skiing. And then like Wednesday, took the kittens to the vet, came back and slept 3 hours before a class I had taken. So, and I have had chronic fatigue syndrome the past few years, and there are some like underlying medical reasons. So it's not purely the emotional component. But I'm just curious if you have any, because it almost makes me like I'm like rescheduling all my coaching sessions because I'm like, well, I know I've got to do this the next day, or I want to be able to ski or whatever.
Yeah,
and
it would discourage you from wanting to
doing
do
it.
it. You know what?
Yeah.
I would just do a page of your fears around, you know, like what's gonna happen. Like, yeah, I would be like, just write out what happened to you. I'm afraid, or the fears about it happening again. That's really what it is. So I'm afraid if I tap that I'm going to go down for the next couple days. Also, let me preface this by saying this is super common. Everybody reacts to tapping differently, especially if you're brand new to tapping and you're tapping on things for the first time. You are hitting emotional burdens that you've carried for a really long time, and it's kind of like taking a 100-gallon backpack off of your back that you've been carrying your entire life. You didn't know how tired you are. You're just used to carrying that backpack. So yeah, and also I have one of my best friends has chronic fatigue syndrome, and that's also a coping mechanism for her. So every time she doesn't want to deal with something, or she has a really hard phone call, or doesn't really want to face something, she just gets really, really tired. It's one of mine too. Like it's not as bad as hers, but I definitely get tired for things too. So one of the things that you can do, these are separate issues. I would say one of the pages would be like, I'm afraid to tap again. I'm afraid that thing's going to happen. I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to do anything. I'm not going to be able to ski. I'm not going to be able to function. I'm afraid that I'm going to sleep for days. I don't want to tap. What if the same thing happens again? This will take you 5 minutes. Like that's not a big deal. But you can work on the chronic fatigue. And I'm not discounting that there are medical reasons behind it. And I also know a lot of people that have been able to overcome their medical conditions by tapping on them. So let's see. I don't know exactly. I'd need to know a little bit more about how chronic fatigue comes up for you, but let's see. I don't know that we need to deal with that at this point. I think tap on as you get deeper into the program. Let's maybe work on that later, but I don't think it's actually something. I'm getting the sense we don't need to address that right now. Just tap on your fear of this thing happening again.
Okay.
Because if you have coaching, the coaching is going to allow you to go really deep. And there's also probably a part of you that's like afraid too of like going so deep and like having such a big emotional release, because it's scary, right? The things that we address here are really scary. The stuff goes really deep. And the part of you that's kept yourself safe by holding on to these problems is usually really threatened by this program and by the techniques in this program. So there's a lot of things going on, but I think if you just tap on the overall fear of that happening again, then try your next session, come back. We've got another one of these in a week or 2 weeks. And then we can check in and see what's happening after the second one that you do, see if it happens again.
Okay. Sounds great. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks, Laura. Okay, Helmi, how are you?
Good, thanks. I wrote something for you and I was gonna give it to you privately. And then I thought maybe other people would benefit from hearing it too.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't have a question or anything. I'm just gonna read it to you.
Oh, please do. I love your shares.
That's okay.
It's really powerful.
So about 18 months ago, I invented a charity that nobody has ever thought of before. And it became like my passion and my purpose in life. And I put a ton of my own money into it. And the impact was absolutely magical, like far beyond what I thought it was going to be. And of course, eventually other people heard about it and I started being asked to promote it. And they were like, come do this TV spot. Like, we want to film you, da, da, da. And it was unbearable. I mean, I did them, but I gained like 20 pounds immediately after. And I've had my mirrors covered for years. There are no pictures of me on the internet ever and have never been. And I'm 40. So like for a woman of my generation, like that's like fairly unusual. I can't bear to be filmed, photographed, seen. Like it's just like I just wanted to hide like my entire life. But I realized with this charity that like I'm a one woman army. So like if it's not me promoting it, then like nobody's gonna know about it and I won't be able to bring people in and help more people. So in desperation, almost 5 months ago, I joined your program. Because I'm like, I have to get past this or else this is just dead in the water and I'm running out of money to pay for it all myself. And so I've since finished the program and so I wrote you something. Adrift in the depths of her unforgiving sea, I couldn't hate my mother, so I hated me. My body, my face, my heart, and my soul were too much and made her lose control. It wasn't her fault. She was trying her best. Where did I think I was going in that dress? How dare I exist with that face, that waist? The least I could do was gain some weight. But Mom, I cried, I'm here and I love you. I'll put on some pounds, but it hurts me too. I'll do anything to fix it so you won't misconstrue, so you'll see me at last and we'll start anew. Unbearably, relentlessly, the truth dawned. No matter how much I bowed down and fawned, regardless of how I chose to respond, Helmy, she'd scoff, you're just another dumb blonde. Please, please, I begged. I mean you no harm. I just want to be seen. Why won't you disarm? I writhed and squirmed beneath toxic shame, desperately trying to change while staying the same. Desperately trying to gain her love and approval, desperately knowing that she craved my removal because I was the cause of her pain, you see. If I didn't look like this, then she would be free. I flinched after compliments and hid under a bottle of wine. I ate sugar and takeout and pretended I was fine. Until one day on Instagram, a targeted ad made me think that one day I could be glad. If it can only be one of us, Mom, it's going to be me. I'll fight my way out of your unforgiving sea. Just wait. I'll have epiphanies by the litany when I finally find my way to Brittany. She's the captain of her ship and she's been here before. These are uncharted waters no more. She offers hope and tools to undo what you did. She taught me how to love what you forbid. It was hard and painful, and I suffered, of course. All of the anger work left my throat hoarse. Her prescriptions were terrifying, but they worked like a charm. My defenses dropped, and I had no need to rearm. We chased echoes and tapped on the door of my subconscious mind that held the lore of how bad I was, of how I should hide to spare the world seeing my sexy side. We danced behind decades to find little me. We rewrote history until I could break free. We summoned the angels to heal what remained, and slowly but surely, my self-loathing waned. See, Britt suffered first and then came back for me. She channeled her magic into a laser inquiry. And she showed up first so that I could see all this would take is patience and bravery. It was harder and better than just eating cake. We pushed the food away and found the mistake. We retold the story and then she held space. And now, against all odds, Mom, I love my face.
Oh my God. Oh my God, Emily, that's making me so emotional. My God, I think you just wrote our theme song.
I was gonna write it in a big long like Facebook post like explaining it. I'm like, this is so depressing. Everything's less scary when it rhymes.
Totally. I mean, yeah, it's like who's that author that we all listened to as a kid?
Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss,
Yeah.
yes.
I used to be a professional nanny and I'd make up rhymes for the kids at bedtime.
Oh my
So I
God.
still do it whenever I
Holy shit, you're so talented. I can't even like put words to that. Oh my God, that was so powerful and so impactful. And thank you for writing that, for sharing that. And it resonates with me so much too, the relationship with your mom, because I had a similar one. And
Mhm.
God.
And yesterday the problem, people are like, oh, you're blonde and pretty, like what's your problem? I'm like, the problem is it makes a lot of women really mad.
It does.
And so I went out roller skating last night and there was this girl who was just scowling at me the second I walked in, and she kept it up all night. And I laughed to the person I was with and I just said, who hurt her? And then I just didn't even notice it, didn't even care, and didn't even realize it until it was pointed out later that like I'm no longer trying to get women who are responding to me really aggressively. I'm not trying to be like, no, I'm a good person. I'm not going to sleep with your husband. You don't have to be mad at me. You don't have to like, I'm not taking anything away from you because I look like this, or because like who told you you're not beautiful too? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
you're not taking ownership of her trauma, her pain.
Yeah. And so that has dominated my life. And I end up being really mistreated by women and female friends to the point where I no longer have any. Because I finally stood up for myself and they all left when I wasn't going to be a doormat anymore.
Oh, well, you know what, that just makes way for new friends.
Exactly.
I mean, I've had that happen. I've gone through 3 rounds of friends, my friends from my 20s, or my friends from like little kid, and then my friends from my 20s. And then the best friends I have now are friends that are like, we have retirement plans together. And like, I feel like when you walk away from unhealthy relationships, mine weren't necessarily toxic, but unhealthy relationships, you make way for the really healthy ones. And now that you've done all this work on yourself, you will be attracted to really healthy, high quality women friendships.
Yeah. And I won't be chasing the haters, trying to convince them that I'm not what they think because my mom, made me feel that way. And then also I lost 5 pounds without noticing. So
that's always a bonus. I love when that's just like a little bonus where you're like, hey, that's so cool.
Well, and I finished the program. And so for all the people who are like, I don't know if it's going to work, and I don't know if this is all hokum and whatever, like, ladies, it works. It's going to work. I did Brittany's prescriptions. They were horrible. But I did them and my brain has been like excavated. Like it's just not there anymore. And my other thing is, the second a woman scowls at me like that, I'm like, I'll just gain weight and then I won't be attractive. And then she won't look at me like that. And I've been up to like almost 200 pounds and it never changed anything. And so I was like, well, why don't I just live in the body I want to live in instead of trying to get bigger to make other people feel better? So it's just been like completely transformational. And I feel free for the first time in my entire life. And I just wanted to write you a little ditty.
Will you send that to me, please?
Sure.
That is definitely like the theme song of my work. That like, and like, I love how lighthearted it is because the work we do here is so intense and so like emotionally deep. And so I love the lighthearted spin you put on it so much because I am so lighthearted. Like I do this really deep work, but I'm like the fun friend of all my friends. Like I'm the one that brings the fun and the party and all of that. So I have 2 very different parts of my personality, but that really feels like it encompasses the work that we do here. So thank you.
Thank you.
God, what a beautiful gift. Thank you so much. And I hope you keep coming to these calls, and I'm always here if you need your help, if you need any help.
I love that. I love that we're not just set loose after 6 months. I super appreciate it. I'm sure I'll need help down the line, but I just wanted you to know like the impact that it had in rhyme.
Yes. Oh my God. Thank you, Helmi. And I'll message you offline too. I would love to talk to you more about maybe sharing your story with other women, because you're so charismatic and you're so good at explaining your transformation.
And
But
I'm not scared of being seen now.
you
so-
are. Has that changed? Oh, I was going to ask you about that. Has that lifted as well?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
like if they called me tomorrow being like, hey, can you come do a TV spot for your charity? I would be like, yeah, no problem.
No way. Okay, so it affected that too. Do you
Yeah.
think that it was with the sexual trauma prescription that you did, or
I think it was with the self-sabotage and the anger work.
Okay.
Shockingly, I really thought the sexual assault stuff was like the whole thing.
yeah.
And it was just the top layer. So it was the anger work, and I never even tapped on any of the stuff that I'm talking about how women react really like aggressively towards me, and it's like really
Yeah.
lonely. I never tapped on it, but I did the anger work for my mom, and then it just collapsed all these things that were connected to her, and me replaying these dynamics with other people and chasing that, trying to get a different response basically.
Yeah.
And I did not see that coming, because I thought the anger work was like, oh no, I forgave her, it's fine.
Totally. Totally. Oh God, I love how powerful anger work is, and I love how you never really know what it's going to affect.
Yeah, you really don't. So
You
if
don't.
anyone's listening and you guys are like, I don't know if this program was worth the money, like, holy shit, ladies, this changed my whole life. And I could have written 50 more stanzas, but I didn't want to take up too much of the calls.
Oh my God, so beautiful. Thank you, Helmi. It's been such a joy to be here for you and to watch your progress.
Yay. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Okay.
Wait to read your poem again.
Sure. Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, Cindy, go ahead and unmute yourself. Cindy, she's like, I forgot I had my hand up. I know, I get sucked into Helmi's stories too. You're such a good storyteller, Helmi. I'm so glad you're using that.
I can't even, it's kind of hard to speak after that. Okay, so a win. I actually just came back on Monday. I went to Rome with my husband, and the food situation was definitely different than, it had been, like very different. And by the way, I walk around New York City, just tap, like just all the time, and I wasn't even doing it right. Like, so.
Oh, I tap on my face too. Yeah, I don't care. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but anyway, so it's just
good.
It's really powerful. But anyway, but on the plane ride home, which is 10 hours, I have a real thing about being trapped, either in a location or in a situation that I can't get out of, where I'm not in control. So the whole 10 hours, I was just like, I wanted to, like, I ate anything that I could get my hands on. Like they came by with a cookie, chocolate chip cookie, which I don't even really particularly like. I ate it. I asked my husband to go get me a second one. He wasn't able to, fortunately, but, and I was, anyway, so, but that's just kind of what happens when I'm in a situation like that. Anyway, so,
and it was the plane that was triggering you, or what was it?
It's like, I was confined to a space, and I did not have control over the food that I had access to. And even though I brought food with me, it just wasn't enough. And anyway, but today I was I was cooking something for my son that had pasta in it, which is the thing that I love just so much more than, anything in the world. And I was I was eating it, like, while I was going along. I was like, no, I'm going to stop right now and push the food away with like real, like, not just pasta from his thing. I'm going to make my own. So I made pasta with butter and Parmesan cheese. And I did the push the food away, and the things that 3 times, and the things that came up, one of them was me being in my crib,
Ooh.
standing at the bars, like because I had to pee and I was like crossing my legs so that I wouldn't. So I was holding it in and no one heard me that I needed to get out, which was like the epitome of being trapped and helpless.
Oh.
And there were, the other one was being in the car with my mother, who's like, that's when I was her captive audience and she could, needle me and, bitch at me and whatever, which is again, a total confinement. And then the third one was, my mother was an amazing cook, but she never let me eat any of it. And I realized that, I was making something for my son because, out of love and care. And yet I was sneaking, I was tasting it and I was kind of feeling that feeling of, oh, I'm going to sneak this, kind of the way that I would do when my mother was cooking, and I would feel like I would need to sneak from that as well. But anyway, after doing it 3 times, it really went down to 0. And there's like a half a bowl of pasta with butter and Parmesan just sitting on my kitchen counter that I've been walking by.
Wow, that's incredible, Cindy. Oh my gosh, congratulations.
But so just really quick question though, and it's kind of technical, is I have a very hard time imagining these angels.
Okay, no problem.
I mean, and I'm trying to, but sometimes it's like, well, how are they going to fit in my mother's car? I just have a hard.
Is it the problem with the size or is it that they're angels?
I think a little bit of both.
Okay. I taught a workshop in Belgium and I didn't know this, but at least I think it's mostly Europeans. No, I think it's just people from Belgium. They're not religious. And so they had a big problem with angels. And so they had me change it to light.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that helpful?
Okay.
You just change it to light.
It is. Okay.
Right.
That's what I'll do. Okay. Anyway, thank you.
You're so welcome. And thank you for sharing that. And I'm so glad you had a different experience on your trip to Italy. That's so freeing. Isn't it so nice when you can travel and you can just like, gosh, you'll get to the point, everybody here will get to the point where you can go on trips. And I don't know if you're anything like me, going on trips was like exciting, but it was also really stressful because I would always feel like I would gain a bunch of weight. And what happens now for me, usually when I go on trips, is I'll actually lose weight and eat whatever I want, including ice cream and including, dessert. And I eat more when I'm on vacation, but I end up losing weight. So I'm so happy you've already had a taste of that.
I just, the first night I had tiramisu, like 3 of us were splitting tiramisu, which is one of my favorite desserts. And it literally didn't taste like anything. And I have to say, I was pissed. Like I was mad. I was like, I'm here, I'm in Rome, I'm eating tiramisu, and it doesn't taste like anything. And I wanted, like, I was looking forward to it. So, it wasn't like there's more work to be, a lot more work to be done, but it was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad you're looking at it as interesting because this now gets to be an experiment because maybe something else would have tasted really good. Right. Maybe it was just the tiramisu that didn't taste good and your body actually wanted something else. So as you tap and as you release all your emotional connections to food, what's going to happen is you might feel inspired to try new foods that you wouldn't normally try. And if you're not aware of that, or if you don't allow yourself to follow the inspiration or it's kind of like it's a creative process. If you have really strict food rules and you don't allow yourself to try new things, then it can kind of feel like, not that fun. But just notice if you feel inspired to try something that you wouldn't normally eat, try it because it might be what your body wants instead.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. Claire.
I wish I had gone before Helmy because that was so amazing. No
Oh,
one can really follow her.
listen, this is not a competition by any
No, I know,
means.
but that was awesome. That was so awesome.
Yeah.
And I know we're running out of time, so I'll
No
try.
worries. I'm going to take everybody who already has their hands up. I'm gonna get to.
Okay. Well,
no problem.
even so, I'll try to be somewhat brief. I think my biggest win, I have so many actually, and I've been doing this for a little over 3 months.
Great.
My clothes are falling off me. I'm wearing smaller underwear. I'm wearing belts. I've gotten rid of some clothes, some pants. And I had this big epiphany the other day in the shower, and it goes back to Leah's comment in the very beginning, you know, sort of, is this going to last, or is it magic, or is it possible, or whatever? I used to, you know, when I first started, really doubt it, because I, like so many of us, I've done so many things in my life, and my weight's gone up and down, and it never has lasted before. And I had this epiphany standing in the shower, like, this is real, and this will last, and this is it. Because, and I even went through in my head, like, why? You know, in the past, I'd pay somebody $3,000 to tell me, you know, wisdom like, oh, you're not a dog, so you don't need treats. You know, and we were supposed to say that to ourselves, you know, and I wouldn't eat carbs, and I'd do this and I'd do that. And in the past, when I would lose weight, my hair would fall out. I wasn't feeling like I was starving myself. And I swear I haven't lost one hair, even though I'm releasing weight. And another thing is, I have no idea how much weight I've lost, because I don't weigh myself anymore. And I used to weigh myself every Wednesday for years, and I would write it down, and my notebook would torture me. And I pitched that months ago. So I don't know how much I weigh right now, and I don't give a shit. I really don't. Because, you know, I walk around and I feel like I'm pretty hot stuff.
Yes.
Which is awesome.
That's awesome.
So I have a lot of wins, and
That's a lot of wins.
And I totally agree that it works. And it changes how you think about everything.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now, here's my question.
Please.
After saying all of this, the one thing I haven't done, and I've watched 1,000,000 hours of your old, you know, your reruns of Q&As.
Okay.
I'm back to like when
You've gone
Sally was
deep.
first figuring out that she could help people. I'm back in those archives.
Wow. Okay.
I'm back in like 2022 at this point. Yeah. So people do watch those. So I know you tell people if they're not doing something, it's resistance, and there's a reason for that. But the thing I haven't done is I haven't taken a nice dinner that I've made and thrown it out.
Oh, okay.
And I've thought a lot about why that is.
Okay.
And you know, technically, I mean, I could, you know, afford to buy a nice meal at a restaurant and pitch it in the trash. But something about that bugs me.
Okay.
And maybe that's resistance. So maybe I should totally do that. But then there's a part of me that's saying, but I'm being so successful and I feel so good. Do I really need to do that? Or can I? What is your thought on that?
Well, first of all, I love that you called yourself out on it. Because you didn't have to do that. So the part of you that is really committed to your success is the part that shared that with us. And listen, Claire, I don't know how it's going to change your life or what it's going to change in your life, but I know for sure that if you're resistant to it, if you're not doing it, and when you're coming up with all the reasons why you probably don't need it anyway, you definitely should do it.
Yeah. I needed you to tell me that though.
Yeah, I figured. You know what? Is there anybody else that hasn't done that exercise that would like to? That feels triggered about throwing food away? Okay, cool. I see like 4 or 5 of
Took
you
me
guys.
2 years, Brittany.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if yours was throw the food away or no, wasn't
Yeah.
yours the lettuce for dinner?
Well, I
Both.
didn't do the other one either.
Oh, right, okay. Well, there's proof that you don't have to do all of them.
No, I did though. I did do it, and I had a steak dinner and I threw it away and I cried and I cussed you out and I screamed. I'm like, oh my God. You know what? Steak doesn't mean that to me anymore.
Mm.
I can go, I don't eat steak unless it's perfectly cooked now. So, I
Oh,
mean, yes, do it.
okay.
Definitely do it.
So, Claire, would you like to, would you be willing to put a group together on WhatsApp to do a challenge?
Sure. I haven't done WhatsApp before, but yeah, I can figure it out.
Okay, yeah. So just download the app. Will everybody that wants to join the Push the Food Away challenge, will you guys put your phone number in? Sorry, no. Sorry, Claire, will you put your phone number in the chat, and then everybody else download WhatsApp and message Claire on WhatsApp and tell her to put you. And then you just start a group on WhatsApp. It's pretty easy. Okay, so. This is so what I would do is I would do the clean your plate exercise kind of the way that we do the Push the Food Away boot camp, where you take one, like remember, we want to trigger ourselves so that like it's the worst possible experience or feeling for us. So start with a big dinner, like a big expensive like steak, or, a perfectly cooked meal. Or if it was like your last day to live, what's your favorite meal that, you would order? So start with a full meal, and then do like a dessert, and then do a snack. And then do maybe even some like a salad and some healthy food. I would do like several different types of food because it'll trigger different things in your subconscious. So, and this one's pretty easy because you just follow a script. You might want to customize it, and there might be certain things that like you heard around the dinner table that you'd want to say out loud, but I would do it. You don't need to do it on a steak dinner like multiple times. What I would do is I would do it on different types of food and different types of snacks and things that you eat.
And so going back into all of the modules, it's the clean your plate. That's what I'm following.
It's the clean your plate. Yeah. And, now that you've been doing this for a while, you might have some anger around it. You might have some echoes come up. Like with the clean your plate, there is a script, but for my students that are more advanced, if you've been in my programs for a while, you might notice like, oh, this is reminding me of going back, or you might remember something, or a trauma might come up. That you want to do some anger work around, or do some more expansive tapping, and that's totally fine to do. But really, I mean, you could just follow the script and it'll work just as well. It just depends. If you want like a really, if these deeper things come up and you want to address it, you can, but it's not gonna make it not work if you don't go deeper, right? You can just follow the script.
Okay, great.
Cool. Okay, and come back and tell us your results.
Yes, thank you.
And I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for all of your success, and thank you for sharing that too. I love hearing wins like that.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Yay. I'm excited for Clean Your Plate Challenge. Donna, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello.
Hey, Donna.
Hi. Just a question. Last month on the laser call, I was having a hard time to get going.
Okay.
And I had just started in December. So you told me to keep working on week 2. And I had my first call with Cambella last week, which was fantastic.
Oh, good. I'm glad you have coaching. Awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, she was great.
If anybody, by the way, if anybody wants one-on-one coaching, I put together a package that is basically like the cost, what I pay the coaches is what I'm offering it. So it's at my cost, it's at my price. So if you want one-on-one coaching, like if you get stuck with something, there is an extra cost to it, but it's literally like I make zero money on this. This is really just to help you guys go deeper. Reach out to Sally. Sally has a link for you guys to buy the one-on-one coaching sessions. Sorry, Donna, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, no, you're fine.
It just reminded me to share that with everybody.
Yeah. We focused on the binge eliminator, and she told me to keep going with that.
Okay.
Which I find actually I'm not doing as much emotional eating. So I'm happy about that. To me,
Great.
that's a
the
win.
point.
For me, that's
That's the point.
Oh my
Good.
God.
That's a huge win.
Yeah, not as much. Now we only had our call last week, so we'll see how far this goes, but I'm happy about that.
Donna, that's amazing. Most people don't notice a shift in their emotional eating from just one session. So
I
that
know
means it works
that.
really well for you.
And working on, on the binge
Great.
eliminator and my other win was this morning I put on jeans that didn't fit me last week. So I was able to zip them. So I was very happy about that too.
Wow. Congratulations.
Two wins.
Those are,
Right.
oh, that's so awesome.
But I still feel like I'm having a hard time.
Okay. What are you having a hard time with?
Just to keep going with it. I'd like to do more during the day. I don't always have the time. So
You'd like to do more what? Tapping or?
Yeah, tapping, listening. I guess
do you feel, okay, say more about that. Like, do you feel resistant to the program or do you feel?
Yes.
Yeah, you do? Okay, cool.
Yes.
I was picking up on that.
Yeah.
So there's a whole tapping script that I think Tina created that's in the Facebook group.
Oh, okay.
So if you go under files, go to the Facebook group and go under files, you can see there's a whole bunch of tapping scripts that have been created by the coaches from working with students who have issues that coming up and things that I hadn't thought of when I created the program. So there's that's a great resource for anybody that doesn't know about that. Go, check that out. And there's resistance to the program. There's resistance to doing the anger work. That's another really common one. And there's a whole bunch of other things under there. So that might be helpful for you, Donna.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Was that it?
Easy today.
Until next week. We'll talk again in 2 weeks.
Very good. Very good.
Okay.
Thank you, Brittany.
All right. Thanks, Donna. All right, Ellie.
Hi.
Hi, Ellie.
From day one, and I think it's been a month now or 4 weeks. I have only snacked once. And
wow.
before
you are getting such amazing results. I love this.
Before the program, I used to think I never snacked, but I would have a bite. I was like the bite queen. Like I would take a bite from my daughter and from my son-in-law, or I'd just take a bite of something out of the fridge. But I'm no longer doing that. And my body is getting smaller. I have actually weighed and I've lost 12 pounds.
Oh my God. Wow. This is like the weight loss call today. That's awesome. Doesn't always happen.
I'm also remembering things like when I'm listening to a program or I have another class that I take notes, and I take notes here too. And before, when I would take notes, I'd only get like 4 or 5 words. And then I spaced out. I couldn't get the whole sentence. And I'm writing down, I'm like writing it down. And as I go, I'm remembering everything.
Gosh. Wow, that's incredible, Ellie. Wow. So your memory is improving.
Yes. and I was obsessive compulsive about picking scabs all my life from a little girl from those mosquito bites. And it was within days I quit doing that, and I'm still not doing that.
Wow. Oh my gosh, Ellie, how long have you been in the program?
Well, I haven't even started the program.
What?
And that's, I need help, but I have another question and then I have to go.
Wait, how much tapping have you done?
Not that much.
So just my free stuff?
On the support groups once a week. And then I do a little
tapping in the webinar.
I tap on other things besides weight loss.
Okay. Amazing. Wow.
And there's other things too I can't think of right now. But my question is, I I have a hard time being hungry.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what to do about it.
Yeah. That's common when people have dieted a lot. Do you like eat very little?
No, I eat whatever I want at a meal, but sometimes I only have one meal a day. Most of the time I have two.
Okay. And you don't, and so how do you know to eat? You eat because it's like I should eat something, but
My
you're not.
daughter's having, she's made a meal and the meal is ready.
Okay. One of the best ways to reconnect with your hunger again is to have scheduled meal times. So, often people who have dieted a long time there's a scientific explanation that I can't think of right now that I don't know well enough to be able to spit that out. But essentially, there are some hormones. It's like ghrelin, I think it is, which is your hunger hormone. And I can't remember why, but when you don't have scheduled meal times, that basically stops working. And so one of the best ways to not only increase your metabolism, this is also used as a weight loss tactic. Other weight loss coaches that don't teach tapping will teach this as like a weight loss strategy, which is to eat at regular meal times, because what it does is it trains your body that you're going to get fed. When you live your whole life dieting, or when you grow up dieting, or you've spent 20, 30, 40.
I haven't lived my whole life dieting. I've done 4 weight programs in the last 25 years. I've done 4 different ones. I was 125 pounds overweight.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I've lost the 12 pounds. So I've never really been a real dieter.
Oh, okay. Well, try this out. Try this out. There could be hormonal explanations that, is of course not my expertise, but try this out. I say if you're eating 2 meals a day, try to break that up into 3 meals a day, and try to like put it on your calendar. Okay, I'm going to eat my first meal at 8 a.m. and then my next meal at 1 p.m. and then my last meal at 6 p.m. And don't eat in between those meals. No snacking, no taking bites, no taking anything. Okay. And if you feel the desire to eat in between your meals, either you didn't eat enough at that last meal, or it's an emotional urge. So this is a little bit clunky. It takes some kind of playing with in order to like really work. So, maybe your first meal doesn't start at 8, maybe it needs to be at 5, or maybe it needs to be at 10. Like, this is going to be based on your schedule. So you get to make up whenever you want to eat is when you want to eat. So try to have each meal include protein, carbs, and fats. Don't cut out any major food groups. And it takes, when I started doing this, it took me about a week and a half for my hunger to come back. Because your body, and the other awesome thing about this is that your body knows now, it starts to feel safe that it's going to be fed. So sometimes people will release weight just from this part of the process, because their body knows that it's not in starvation. It moves from starvation mode to abundance mode. So yeah, this can be really powerful, and it might help.
My sleeping is like 6 hours instead of 8 or 9 hours.
Okay. I'm not a sleep expert by any means. Those can be hormonal. There's a lot of people that are way better at sleep than I am. But yeah, I know hormones have a lot to do with sleep, but there's sleep experts that would give you probably way better advice than me on that.
Thank you, Brittany. I appreciate
you're welcome. Yeah, but with the hunger, start planning your meals, and I'm really curious to see what happens for you when you do that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Ellie. Okay, Bridget, last caller.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Hi. I actually have first two organizational things. Facebook has shut my account down. And then they told me, because I did apparently have some actions on my account that, I don't know, they said they're going to shut it down. And then I had to send in a video of my face and everything. And then they said it's going to be shut down, to stay shut down. So I don't know if I can open a new account, but I will try because I haven't joined the Facebook group yet.
Okay, that's really annoying. And my very first Facebook account that I had from the time I was like 22 got taken away from me, I don't know, 5 years ago or something like that. And I lost all my photos and I never got it back. So it's super annoying, but you can start another one. Just pick a new email address.
The
I
other
use my
one
phone
is,
number. Yeah.
I started yesterday on your program, and I'm feeling a bit stressed because I get all your emails. We are in lesson 5 and I haven't even done lesson 1 yet. Can I
Okay,
do it?
so you joined a while ago, but you just started
I
like
joined in
looking at it.
December, but I just start now.
Oh yeah, that's no problem at all. So just disregard the emails. Don't worry about the emails, and just go to the first module and start working your way through the program.
Okay, but I want to share a win.
Please.
Because last time I told you that I have these underlying issues with Lyme disease and I have food allergies. And when I was a teenager, I had this wish to become really, really ill. And last weekend, I was doing a workshop here in Munich, and it was an EFT workshop. And during those 2 days, so many things came up. And yesterday I took a private session with that coach. I had a heart surgery when I was 1 year old. And I realized it's mainly because I was then 3 weeks left alone in hospital. And I think my main issue was I was craving always foods where I was comforted by people, by my grandma, by my father, and by my sister. And yesterday we did this tapping. It took 2 hours. She calls it matrix reimprinting. We went to this surgery I had, and she tapped on me as a little, when I was 1 year old. And we also tapped on my mother, who left me alone. And after that, everything was different. I was just like, I couldn't believe it. And I had planned to have like a cheese evening, and I'm allergic to cheese. I can't have it. I didn't even took it out of the fridge. I didn't want anything. I was just in this kind of, I don't know, I felt so well, and now I'm really excited to start with the program. But what I wanted to say, I was last year, because I was so sick with Lyme, and I had also 3 different bacterial infections underlying, that I went on a carnivore diet. And when I'm on carnivore, and now over Christmas, I said, okay, I have everything I want because I felt so good. But when I'm on carnivore, I do not really have cravings, but I feel when I do not have the cravings, all these things from my youth come up. And I start to see what I did before when I had, but I also have no cravings since I had the Tapaton with you, the first exercise we did for cravings. And last time you told me I should go more through the foods, but what if I don't have any cravings?
Well, if you don't have any cravings, okay, what's your question? There's a lot
in
in
the do
tell
it with
me what
just
you're
imagining the foods, because I can see the connections I had through foods with certain people, that I craved their love, for example. And if I can do it like that, because last time you told me.
Yeah, you can do it like that. I also want to challenge you that if you're not having cravings because you're on the carnivore diet, I know the carnivore diet will you know, take your cravings away, but it's also a very extreme way of eating. And I don't believe that anybody is going to be able to stick to that unless you really love meat and unless you don't feel deprived at all. And unless you never want to have another bite of chocolate cake for the rest of your life, which that's just not, it's not any way, that's not a way to live. I don't believe in living like that. So, I would, this is not, when you're in my program, this is not the time to be on a rigid restrictive diet. I understand trying something like that to see if it can reverse health challenges. And I think that's beneficial in that way. But I would do that. What I would do if I were you is I would eat normally and I would have whatever foods that you want to have. You know, bring those around, eat them, have them around, notice when you crave, notice when you overeat, notice the things that you can't control yourself around. This will feel like chaos. I know this is like I know this is not what you want to do. I can see your face. And you might even gain some weight. This is a disclaimer. You might even gain some weight, but that's the best way to take advantage of this program, because if you're basically controlling your external instead, and you're using your external environment to control your internal environment. And that's never permanent. That's not, I know you feel relief right now, but that's not permanent change. So if you can, if you're willing, stop the carnivore diet, go back to eating pizza, burgers, you know, whatever it is that you like to eat, paninis, and work through your cravings and your emotional urges while you're in this container. And then at the end of the program, once you've normalized your relationship with the foods that you were triggered about, once you're no longer triggered by those foods, then you'll reach a point where you'll say, okay, you know what? I felt really good on that carnivore diet. I'm going to go, you know, it will be a natural decision to just eat meat, or maybe it'll be a hybrid of like, you know, I eat 80% meat and 20% fruit, or, you know, 60% meat, 20% fruit, and, you know, salad too. Right. So, but right now you're making the decision from your head, and you're using willpower. Once you go through the work and you actually allow yourself to process and heal the traumas that are connected to overeating all these foods, that you'll be able to go back to restricting your diet, but it won't feel restrictive. It'll feel like a choice, and it'll feel like,
yeah, but that's what happened anyway when I did it. And also because I'm fructose intolerant, and I shouldn't eat wheat and dairy because I'm allergic to the two of them. The only thing that I now changed in May is it also cut out vegetables, and I felt so much better without it, because I have heavy metal toxicity, Lyme, and 2 other bacteria. And I'm a little bit afraid that if I eat everything, I'm just making it go up all again.
Yeah, it will. It's not going to be an easy process. You know, one of the ideas that I had for you is that you could do a 3 pages around, I have a friend who healed her gluten allergy by tapping on it. And so I choose to keep my gluten allergy because I like that I don't eat gluten. So,
me too.
Okay. So, but also too, you have a lot of allergies to a lot of things, right? And so if I have so many allergies to so many different things, then like that's the only thing that I have. But it seems like you're stacking a lot of allergies on top of each other, which it doesn't really make life fun, right? So what I would do is I would do 3 pages around what your fears are about how these different foods affect you. So just take the challenge that I gave you, which is stop the carnivore diet and start eating normal foods, the foods that were affecting you, and write out all of your fears, your thoughts, your beliefs, your anxieties about what is going to happen when you add these foods back into your diet, and tap on those statements and those emotions. That will seriously change your reaction to these foods.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would start there. And then, you know, I think this will take you more than 2 weeks, but you know, the next call or the call after that, let's do another check-in on this and see where you're at. Because if you just focus on that, and if you just focus on your fears and your anxieties around these foods, I'll need to like feel your energy when we talk next, but I think that you will be able to add those foods back into your life and then work through the program. And you'll have a lot more success if you do it that way.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Bridget. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here and for asking your questions and for sharing. I'm so happy for so many of you, for all of your wins. Thank you, Helmi, for your beautiful poem. And thank you for all of those of you that ask questions, because you're asking questions for people that maybe didn't feel like sharing today or asking a question. So good luck with your challenges, and I can't wait to hear how everybody's doing again on the next call in the next 2 weeks. Bye, everybody. Bye. Lots of
Thank
love.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.